everybody, so today we are in my hometown of Rock Hill, South Carolina, and you know, I haven't been on the road in about like 3 weeks in America. I did go to Spain with my mom, but ever since I've been back in my hometown to go fly out of Charlotte to do that with her and come back, I haven't done any traveling at all, and it's kind of like bumming me out, you know. And so I decided that today I should just try to look at my hometown through like new eyes, like as if I'm a visitor. There's Banks. Hello, Banks. And so I wanted to look up the top 5 things to do in Rock Hill and then go do all of those things. And hopefully I haven't done any of them before. Hopefully there's something new that surprises me. But if there's food on the list, I'll be happy about it because your girl is hungry. Yeah, so let's just go get started with that. And it's kind of cold today. It's like 40 degrees here. Me and Banks are the cutest couple of all time. I just checked it earlier and it said that it was 40 degrees, high of 61. Okay, so I probably don't need... I've got a bunch of layers on. First place we're gonna go, I made a list. Where's my list? The first place we're gonna go is down Main Street in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm gonna take you to some of the things that were on the list on the internet, and one of those places just happens to be the restaurant that I used to be a waitress at. I am hungry, so let's go down there and get something to eat. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the place when we're there. Or actually, let me tell you about it now, and then I'll just put this as like the voiceover to the footage. Five and Dine is a restaurant that I used to work at, and it's where a really famous sit-in happened in the South. In 1961, 9 black men sat down at the counter in this restaurant and participated in a sit-in. The sit-in took place in the McCrory's building, which was a 5 and Dime lunch counter. That's why the restaurant is now called 5 and Dine, because they wanted to play off of that original name. It's on Main Street, downtown Rock Hill. 9 junior college students sat down at the whites-only McCrory 5 and Dime lunch counter. Minutes later, they were arrested, dragged out the back door, and thrown in jail. They were convicted the next day of violating the racial segregation laws of the day. 9 of them spent 30 days at hard labor in the York County Prison farm to protest segregation. They weren't the first to sit in at a segregated lunch counter, but these men refused to post bail and go home after they were arrested. Jail No Bail slogan was born in that restaurant that day, because I guess their logic was, why am I going to pay the government money and post bail to get out of jail for something that I don't believe I should be in jail for? So they spent their time in jail. So this was a huge part of the civil rights movement in the South, and you know, in the South it was pretty bad. I am born and raised in the deep South, where these issues were, I guess, the most apparent. Even today you do see acts of racism here, and there are a lot of demonstrations here still to this day when things go wrong. And it's just like, thinking about it this way, it is really wild that has happened here since the foundation of our country, and there are still remnants of it today. But to be able to be a waitress at the same place and serve food on the same counter that a really historic sit-in took place for the civil rights movement is pretty cool. So I guess reflecting on this has actually been really good, and making this video probably is actually going to be a good idea, because it will give me a new appreciation for some things, I think. Not all things here in Rock Hill, but some things. I'll show you the counter and the original counter. Alright everybody, so we went to 5 and Dine, you and I invited my good friend Dustin, who has like been born and raised in Rock Hill his whole life. He's been here for a long time, whereas I lived here for about 9 years, and then, you know, obviously I grew up down the road 20 minutes in McConnell, South Carolina, but he has been here for the whole time, and he's gonna join me on this adventure today. He is 69 years old. Or like 27 or something like that. We're gonna hit up a couple of different spots in Rock Hill. Some of the ones are gonna be like from the list that I've gathered. We'll get started on that. So we are at Winthrop Lake, which is a complex from the university here called Winthrop University. And it's basically just a big plot of land where they have our basketball stadium, our baseball coliseum thing, and actually one interesting thing that happens here is that once every year the International Championship of Disc Golf happens here. Apparently this is one of the best disc golf courses in the entire United States. Don't ask why it's in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but it is, and yeah, so we're just gonna drive around it.
One of the 5 pumps that were located inside the building that extended 20 feet below the water level of the river, each pumped 1 million gallons of water per day. But it doesn't anymore because gentrification.
Okay, so I'm walking over. Rock Hill has recently built up this part of the town called the Riverwalk, which is really cool. And they've added a velodrome for bikers, which I'm about to show you, and this BMX track, which I'm now at right now. I'm gonna try to film a little bit of it. No one's out here, so it's kind of hard to get into, but we've got this up here, which says the 2017 BMX World Championships in Rock Hill, South Carolina. This is pretty cool. I actually haven't seen this. This is all been built up since I left. So you can see there's some part of the track down here. I'm assuming right here is where you would carry your bike up to start up here. Let's just go around this way. So obviously you would come down here, right down here, make this jump right here. I'm actually just gonna get up on top of. So we start here, come down, you've got to jump right off the bat. You've got these hills, curve around that thing right there, go back down through this thing. This is actually really cool that we have this now. This is my shadow. Hello. So Rock Hill has really been pushing to become like a very sports oriented town. We started building the Riverwalk a couple of years ago, and I remember riding my bike down there. It's right next to the Catawba River, and it's basically a 2-mile trail that goes all the way down it, and then at the end of it you hit some train tracks, and then you circle around and come back up the 2 miles again. It's really scenic, and I used to take banks on walks there all the time. So since they finished building the Riverwalk, now they have houses here and condos, and they're opening a couple small businesses here, like the Pump House, which we were just at, which is one of the only non-chain restaurants in the entire town. Dustin just skated down to the end over there. He said there's a cool skate spot down there, so I'm gonna go find him, and then we're gonna go check out the velodrome. Okay, let's go find Dustin. I see him down here skating. Get in, loser, we're going shopping. Track is actually really cool.
The Giordano Velodrome in Rock Hill. We've been here for about almost 5 years. It's an Olympic standard 250-meter track. The banking was 42.5 degrees in the turn. So one of our biggest things that we try to get here is either a national championship or regional championships. We hold those every year. But national championships, we have riders from all across the country that come and race here. They try to make it a really active community. So we've got the velodrome here, we've got a BMX track right up the street, which is a world class. We just held the world championships here a few months ago. We've got a walking trail. It's 5 miles of trails down right along the river. We got businesses going in. We got a YMCA. There's just Rock Hill is just trying to make it a really big active city now. We store all our track bikes. This fleet right here are our rental bikes. We rent them out to anyone that's certified on the track. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's got one gear.
Yeah.
It's a fixed wheel, so if your rear wheel's moving, your pedals are moving.
Yeah, so you can't coast.
So you can't coast. No brakes. In the track.
These are cool, man. On some train tracks right now. Dumbass left my death wish board here. If you found it and would like to be a good Samaritan, please text. This is a skate spot. Rock Hill, South Carolina. They built up and all nice stuff for the visitors and, you know, for the people that can afford to do things down at the Riverwalk and all that, but like before all that was here, growing up here was just like being in high school here, there was nothing. So literally what we used to do is like hang around like parking lots in like Panera Bread and go to house shows. We went to a lot of house shows. Everyone had like these bands and like we would all go have these like concerts, mini concerts and stuff at these shows and houses around campus, and we just hung out on people's porches and stuff, and there wasn't really a whole lot to do but get drunk, I guess. And everyone's old now and they went different ways, and like the stuff I showed you earlier is real nice and all, and it got built up in the last couple years, but like this is what we had before all that was there. I'm gonna try skate. You stretching it out? I just did that and I landed it. I just didn't get it on film.